And the guys at the local paint shop are ready to cut me out of their will. They really are, because I keep bugging them with this thing, and they said you can't stain something and make it lighter than what it is to start with. And this is lighter than what new walnut looks like. Now I could sand this down, you know, just a few thousandths of an inch below this orange finish is red walnut. It'll look new if I just take the patina off of it. But there again, that devalues it. That wasn't in the deal when the man sent me this thing to work on. And so I've had to try to figure out a way to finish this, and I've been saving pieces of wood like this that actually came from this same piece of wood. They were ripped off the sides or off the top as I made it, and I've saved pieces, and I've got paint stain swatches all over these things. First I tried lightening it with Clorox and water, half and half. It gave it kind of a greenish color. And another thing is, these fluorescent lights they're not real. Fluorescent lights are of the devil. And so you can't match anything in fluorescent lights. And all your paint stores have fluorescent lights in the back where they mix stuff. So I have to do whatever I'm going to do and then take it out in the sunshine, which is more of a true light. So incandescent light is yellow. These LEDs and stuff, I don't know what they are. Fluorescent light is white. Sunlight is more of a full spectrum, and it's a little more red looking. So to really see what it looks like, you got to take it out in the sunshine. Well, the Clorox turned it a greenish color, especially on the second and third coat. That's what it took to get it light enough to where I could darken it down to this color. Well, that didn't work. That wasn't an option with the Clorox. So I got about another idea. I thought, well, maybe hydrogen peroxide might do it, because they use it to lighten people's hair. I tried the medical stuff that you can buy at the drugstore. That didn't do much. And then I remembered the kind that they use in hair salons. We use it in bleaching skulls when we do European skull mounts. And I had some of that, and it's quite a bit stronger. So I think I put 3 coats on here. And I did all this stuff on my trial piece before I did anything on this. I've worked for 2 weeks to try to figure this out before I'm making this tape even. So in between coats, I would sand it with 400 sandpaper because it would raise the grain so bad. It would be so rough that if I left it that way and stained it, it would soak in really, really deep. And I played with some yellow stain, took a little red tint coloring and put in it, tried some other red stain. That had too much of a brown to it. So I just took plain yellow, just primary color yellow, and put it in with some yellow stain. Made some stuff that wasn't a whole lot different than UT orange, basically. But it's a stain color. And when you mix, after putting 3 coats of hydrogen peroxide on this and then sanding it down to 400, and then put this orange paint looking stuff on here, wipe it off, and then put a coat of finish on it, it came up with this, which is a fairly orange version of walnut, because that's what real walnut looks like. That's just a piece that I cut off. But this is with the orange added to it. So I feel pretty safe in going ahead with this process after all this time trying to figure out how to do it. This has really been a challenge. It's my wife can tell you, I've been pretty tense last week and a half till I got on the right track. I think the hydrogen peroxide kind of turned the corner with me, but now I'm sanding the last little bit with 400, and I'm going to put the first coat of stain on it, or the only coat of stain on it. After that, what I'm going to do to tweak it, which I know I'll have to tweak it a little bit, is I will add some stain to my finish. I can tint the finish and kind of ooch it a little bit one way or the other by tinting the finish when I put the finish on, because my finish is clear as water. And then That's hard for me to talk and do anything at the same time. Anyway, here we go again. Last time to sand it, and I will get back to you when this finish starts getting a little further along, and hopefully it won't take too many coats of the tinted finish to age it out and make it look like the original here. That's just a halfway detailed summary of what I've been up to for 2 weeks. And the owner of this gun is being very patient with me. So kudos to Michael Grasso in Pennsylvania. I told you, UT Orange. But when you put it on bleached walnut and then wipe it off, it looks like what I want it to look like. My wife can tell you this became an obsession with me to find this solution. One guy at the paint store thinks that I have completely flipped out. Another guy worked with me a lot and finally gave up on me, and I paid him something anyway for his time. Another one was just thoroughly disgusted with me and just went on about his business. But he was convinced that I was a wacko. But quitting on this project, not making this happen, was just not an option. This is going to happen. Alright, there's the stock. There's with orange stain on it. But watch what happens when I wipe it off. And when I put the finish on that and it gets a gloss to it, it's not going to be that far off. Because putting the clear finish over the stain actually changes the color of it a little bit. Each step of this thing is still an experiment. That's why I went through so many steps with the trial pieces of wood before I ever put it on this. I have already done this process to the trial pieces, the test pieces, about I don't know, 6 or 8 times with different colors of stain, trying to get it to match. Even with that, I'm a little apprehensive, but I think it's getting there. I believe, and I'm going to have to tint my final coats. This is the first coat of finish, but I'm going to have to tint my final coats to make it a little more orange. I can do that, but it's close. It's very close. This half of this is a little more orange than this half is a little brown. There's stripes in it. But I think I'm close enough that I can end up with it. I can make it on the final lap. This finish that I use is the best finish I know of. It's called Permalin. It's by Laurel Mountain Forge. It's very expensive. It's about $40-something for that quart. And the best way I've found to keep it from going bad, I used to have a problem with losing it. It would go bad. I loaned a can of this stuff about half full to a kid making a guitar one time, and he couldn't get the lid off, so he took channel locks or vice grips or something and squished that lid and made it where it wouldn't seal right. I lost the whole rest of the can. It just went bad. It's very sensitive to oxygen. And so what I've done, I talked to the owner of the company at Laurel Mountain, and he said that you could take acetylene and just don't light it, but just blow acetylene in there. Acetylene's heavier than air, and it goes in, fills up the airspace that's in here, because this is only about half full. And then I thought, well, if it don't like oxygen, maybe it'll like carbon dioxide. So I just blow into it. And then I slam the lid on it. I squeeze the air out of it, and then whenever I seal it and I turn it loose, it stays crushed in. It keeps a vacuum on it. You want to be careful about doing that after you've eaten linguine or something. You know, the garlic will come back out of there when you open it back up. It's you need to be careful of what you do on that one.